Hi, I'm Stuart Ball from Lick Library, and I am here with one of the metal icons, Dave Mustaine. Thank you very much for giving us your time. Just listening to you play there, sounding fantastic.
Thanks.
Now, we were chatting about, you were with Marshall in the early days. There was a little bit of time when you were away, and then now you're back, kind of bigger and better than ever with Marshall. Tell us a little bit about how you got back working with the guys again.
Oh, I never really wasn't with Marshall. There was just a period, you know, I mean, no one would even know it if you hadn't brought it up. Just kidding. You know, the whole period, in, like I was saying, in the end of the 80s and beginning of the 90s was when we had a terrible backlash in the metal industry, when Nirvana came out and people started to question whether metal was relevant anymore, and a lot of people started to turn the thumb screws on us as musicians and say, you know, you needed to change your sound, you need to change the way you look, you need to wear flannel, you need to grow goatees, all that crap. And you know, I don't look good in a goatee, I don't like flannel, and you know, I believe that if you can't handle Marshall, then you shouldn't play him.
Yeah.
You know, for me, it's something that's been synonymous for great guitar playing with me since the beginning of my career.
And we were hearing you play just now, and it had you know, the stuff you were doing just sounded like a real fantastic, tight metal sound.
Thanks.
Now, the JVM series that you're using, is this when you know, with the Marshall this time, is this the one that you kind of went for straight away? Did you experiment with a few for a while?
I've used a lot of Marshalls over my career. I started obviously with the standard that most guitar players in metal gravitate towards, which is the JCM 800. And I had numerous stacks, heads, cabinet configurations, colors of cabinets, colors of grill cloth, speaker wattage, everything. And you know, I pretty much can play any Marshall and make it sound good. It's in your hands.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? So if I played this guitar through here, you're not going to have it sound the same as I would.
No.
You know, most guitar players know that. So for me, starting with that, it's obvious. You know, you have such an unlimited range of stuff as a musician. If you want to play Marshall stuff, as a touring musician and going to the lengths that we tour as professionals, we need to have something that can withstand the rigors of traveling. And with for me, I use an EL34-100 when I tour, and we use the JVM for the studio. On our new record, it's our 12th studio release. We have a name for it, but we haven't disclosed it yet, and we've used Marshall exclusively, and we're just about ready to start doing the lead solos. So we've got the 410, and we also have the new Randy Rhoads amp that's there that we're going to be trying for lead solos.
Fantastic.
Good thing is that I own my own studio, because the thing with the Randy Rhoads amp, you need to have some pretty big balls to handle that thing, because you got to turn it up and really experience the magnificence that Randy brought to us as musicians and music lovers.
Now, you wake up in the morning, for example, you plug into your Marshall, you've got your cup of coffee. How do you write a great metal riff?
Well, I think it's just like, you know, being a chef or being a carpenter or being an athlete or anything. You know, you have to have the right tools in order to be able to do things. You know, there are some people that can, you know, make stone soup and be able to pull it off. We don't really have a lot of times where I wake up and I say, hey, you know what, let's go write a song, because for me, if I'm not ready to record right then and there, the riff's gone forever, and it just really makes me upset that I can't record it right away. But when I turn the amp on and I start playing, it's just something that kind of happens. You know, it's like when you throw somebody in the water, they're going to get wet. You put me in front of a Marshall, stuff's going to happen. Yeah,
I mean, without trying to get into too much of a Spinal Tap moment, I mean, you feel the inspiration coming from the amplifier, which makes you play better, sounds better.
The thing is, most people think that Spinal Tap is comedy. It's documentary, and it is so accurate.
Mockumentary.
Yeah, well, whatever you call it. For me, it's very similar in a frightening way. It's more truth than fiction. But you know, truth has always been stranger than fiction. So, how do I feel when I look at this thing? It looks like it's ready for business. You know, somebody said, "Why do you have the metal grill cloth on it?" And I told them, you know, it's like when you're on stage and people throw stuff at you. If you're the kind of musician that I am, you'll play with anybody, because we have no fear of anybody we've played with. So if their audience doesn't necessarily like us, good luck trying to take our equipment down. You know, you can throw whatever you want at these amplifiers, it will throw it back at you.
Excellent. Now, can you give us an example of some of the rhythm stuff that you were doing? Now, I know you do a lot of lead stuff, I know you do a lot of stuff, but I mean, I personally love the rhythm stuff you do. It sounds so tight, and it's kind of metal but with a groove, which I personally love. So could you maybe just give us a couple of examples of riffs that you were doing earlier, and just...
Well, there's no particular style or order I was doing. I was just going to testing my sound and stuff. I do a lot of palm muting, and that's a big part of my style. So obviously, if you pull your hand off of the pickup, and then the more you roll it forward, the more it dampens things. So I like doing that. I like also voicing chords when, if you do a normal bar chord, you have the first, the fifth, and the octave there. I kind of tend to rely on the fifth and the octave a lot, and then pedal on the root. Like, for example, there's a song called Ashes in Your Mouth, and in Ashes in Your Mouth, I do a lot of pedaling on the root E and move around on what would be the top part of the chord. Stuff like that. And we're missing a noise gate right now, so because I'm so close to the amp, that's why it's having a little bit of some noise problems. But usually, when I'm doing other rhythms where it's more moving around, I do what people call riffing, and a lot of American guitar players will do stuff like they'll do chords and crap. Like I like to do riffs like. Now, if I turn that up, it totally has a totally different feeling. Right when you go into palm muting right there, it goes, it totally goes, it really, it's that got growling sound to it.
Great palm end.
There's a couple of other things that we do, like, for example, there's a song called Kick the Chair. It's a real fast rhythm. It's a... Now, if you do that at speed with the volume turned up, and again, as you palm mute it, it totally makes it have this controlled anger. So.
Brilliant. Now, there's another song that you do, which I found out, and you might think I'm being facetious, but I'm not. I had a Beavis and Butthead compilation album. There was a song in there called 99 Ways to Die, which is just, I thought was fantastic.
Wow, I haven't heard that song in a long time.
I don't know if you still know how to play it, but it's really interesting. You're using, obviously your signature sound, but there's a mixture of kind of dominant chords and five chords. Is really, really good.
I'm trying to remember how that goes. I think that's how it goes. I haven't played it for a long time.
That is how it goes. It's been transcribed in a different place, but that's obviously you wrote it. So
everybody transcribes things. There's one guy. His name's Wolf somebody or another.
Funny enough.
Some cat, whatever, tried to do Holy Wars, and the first 8 notes he already had a mistake in it. So for me, when I talk to people that are learning how to play guitar, don't read the tab. Either learn it from the record or learn it from the guitar player, because if here's the beginning goes. In those notes, there was already a fucking mistake. If you can believe that.
Right, okay.
So it's stumbling out of the gate.
Okay. But it's interesting to note that the amplifier, and the reason I brought up that riff is because you're playing that kind of, and I don't know, I'm going to get into too many technical things, but I call them the sort of top part of a dominant chord there, and the amp doesn't break up those type of intervals with certain amps. They kind of sound, it goes like that, but they still sound really, really nice.
I think so too.
With the amplifier, so I think that's one thing to point.